you first of all to having me here doing this interview. I'm very pleasured and very thankful to give those spaces for people can speak about the whole political situation in Sudan. Yes, my name is Mustafa Hussein, and I'm a political activist coming from Sudan, um, doing political activism more than 10 years now in different grassroots movements. Um, and I studied actually mechanical engineering in Sudan University. And yeah, thank you again for guesting me here, for having me here. Yeah, this is actually a good question. And I will go back in the timeline, the period of the first year that I attended university, 2009. We faced a lot of, I mean, me and the people in my part faced a lot of environmental struggles. I mean, inside the university, um, the infrastructure phase, we couldn't find a good environmental possibilities to have a good opportunity to be involved in our academic um, activity, specifically how like the university itself been made, and all the resources of the all of the academic resources have been there. So one time, um, one of our friends faced an electrical shock in the in the in a lab, and then we decided, okay, now we have actually a dangerous issue that's happening, and we have to face this stuff with the administration of the university. Yeah, we tried to mention and announce a problem in different ways, with doing publications and connect with a lot of people demonstrating inside the university to solve the problem with the issue of the students, like ourselves and the other people also. And yeah, but it didn't like we have made a lot of communications with the people from the administration, but we didn't reach actually a great solution for the issues. And then we started a student movement. Uh, the name of it is the Students Unity, and then we started doing a lot of political stuff, demonstrations and panel discussions, and to raise more awareness about the situation, environmental issues, academic issues in the university, and exactly, and that we have the right actually to have a good environment in the university. Yes, I mean, to answer this question, it's actually the main question about happening in Sudan. And to answer this question, we have to mention a lot of stuff that happened um, in the beginning of 2018. There was a lot of in the beginning of 2018. There's a lot of movements, collections of students, movements, political activists, journalists, and human rights defenders. They started demonstrating against the government, trying to overthrow it because of the economic situation um, um, was very uh, non-stable, can I say? So everything started, I think, in 2018, um, in in uh, in November and October. Very big mass of people went in the street, went out in the street to overthrow the government, and it started actually in Atbara, in north of Sudan, and then after months and months, people collected, uh, being collected, people being made kind of network, and the demo started being organized well um, the by the SPAA, which is the Sudanese Professional Association, and they started collecting all the people who are, and the SPA. Then we have to define also the SPA. The SPA is the Sudanese Professional Association, which is actually kind of associations from different professionals, like lawyers and doctors, engineers, and yeah, they came together um, to let the mass demonstration in Sudan be well organized. So they actually succeed on it. Like they have been organizing demonstration in a regular way, and after a period, they made kind of a big alliance in a declaration. The name of under declaration, the big umbrella of this declaration is the uh, the uh, and freedom and change declaration. They signed it together with a lot of political parties together, and then the SPA developed itself, made kind of biggest umbrella, and it was the FFT collaborating together um, with the political parties and organizations together. I mean, part of them was civil society, political parties, and the SPAs. And at the last, they made one organization. The name of it, the Forces and Freedom and Change, which is the FFT. And the mass demonstration, being well organized until the 11th of April, when the overthrow of al-Bashir had been happened, and um, and then came off in the power position and led the government in Sudan. And the people in the street, they didn't accept the Ibn Auf because he was actually one of the al-Bashir men, um, security men, and they demonstrated. They complete demonstrating behind the front of the army administration in Sudan, military administration, sorry, in Sudan, and then um, and Ibn Auf decided to quit, and then came Al Burhan, which is actually another guy from the Bashir gang, from the Bashir security men, and brought him activists also, which is the RSF leader. The Rapid Support Forces in Arabic, it's the قوات الدعم السريع, and they had made kind of a military council. The name of it is the Transitional Military Council, and they kept the power for a long period, and them trying to do kind of discussions and to make kind of stability in the government. But the demonstration in the ground, they wasn't um, satisfied with those deals. At the end, the whole situation led to kind of deal have been made in the um, a deal between the Transitional Military Council and the Force of Freedom and Change, being signed in the Juni 2019, and yes, and then there was kind of the stability happening, but there was a lot of conflict between the grassroots movement where I'm coming from, and wasn't we wasn't satisfied about what's happening, and yes, then was a conflict, and then this deal had been made, and then this deal led to bring Abdullah Hamdok as a prime minister for the government. Yeah, and then I graduated actually from the university. Then we started to do uh, supporting building the resistance committee neighborhood, which is a kind of grassroots political institution, organization, um, the idea for it is in every neighborhood there is an organization from the people living in the neighborhood. So the name of it is neighborhood committee. And then in the last year, in 2018, before I left the country, we started, me and with a lot of comrades, we started together doing started a campaign, and the goal of this campaign was to overthrow the government. Yes. Yes. Actually, to answer this question, I have to go back in the history, in the year 1989, when when Al Bashir, the Brotherhood movement, collaborated together with the military, and then they made a coup, um, and they have been governing the Sudan for a long period in a dictatorship. Uh, and in this period, in the 19th until the 2018, 2019, when the demonstration led to overthrow the government. Um, in those 30 years, the government actually destroyed a lot of public services um, organizations, and they affected the economical situation um, um, in a very bad way, um, and destroyed also a lot of people's life, and arrested and killed a lot of political activists. And when the people decided actually to go out in the street, because actually the affection of um, the price of bread, and the whole political, the whole economical situation, if, in their affecting the feed the normal situation of the people, and yes, the people decided to rise up and overthrow the dictatorship because they fed up. But it will be very interesting to mention that in 2003 there was also a try to rise up against the dictatorship in Sudan, and to overthrow the government. But the dictatorship government, they actually faced the move on in 2013 in a very hard, strong way, and they killed a lot of people. Um, and yes, it was kind of trauma for the people, the political activists that were working in the movement at that time. But yeah, but at the end of 2018, the people organized themselves in a very great way. The demonstration started actually in Atbara, in the north of Sudan, in 2019, and then came the SPD, the Sudanese Professional Association, and they um, took the role of organizing the whole revolution rise up in Sudan. And then they um, they made kind of declaration. The name of it is um, Freedom and Change Declaration, and signed it with a lot of political elements and parties, organizations, and also organizations from the civil society together with the neighborhoods committees, and um, and they found a lot of support from the mass of people in the street. And then at the end, it actually led to yeah, to overthrow the Bashir government dictatorship after 30 years in power in the 13th, in the 11th of April 2019. Yeah, actually the MLT, Muhammad Hamdan Daglu, the MLT, the leader of the RSF, Rapid Support Forces, قوة الدعم السريع, um, the leader of these forces, he collaborated together with the military leader Ibn Auf at that time, and they made a coup, trying to execute the passion and the movement Sudanese people calls to overthrow the government, and they have been in the position of power also. Ibn Auf specifically, because he was one of the al-Bashir men, dictatorship men, and he actually didn't stay for a long period in this position of power, but he the demonstrations and the movement stayed in the street for a long period, and they said no, we are not going to accept one of al-Bashir men. We didn't make this revolution. People didn't die because they actually seeking another Bashir. They are seeking real democratical change. So um, so they said no, we are not going to accept Ibn Auf. Yeah, and then he actually accepted the desire of the people that they are not accept Ibn Auf. But unfortunately, at the end, it didn't lead to anything true or real, because the resistance that happened led that one of the other one of the Bashir men, security men, with this Burhan, he came to the position of the power together with the Hemeti, the RSF leader, and they made kind of council, and the name of this council is Transitional Military Council. And yes, and why during that the people were actually demonstrating in the front of the military administration in Khartoum, the FFS, the forces of freedom and change. Sorry, they actually collaborated together, and at the end of July and Augustus, they made kind of deal, and this deal um, wasn't also accepted from a lot of people from the movement, because it is not actually rudely going to solve the problem of Sudan. But the deal being signed at the end came by the Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok in the position of power, and they started collaborating together, leading the government for a transitional period. Yeah, it is. It was actually a very how like a very big conflict between the political elements and organizations and initiatives and different opinion about what actually happened in Sudan, or in which direction we're supposed to go to solve the political issue of Sudan. And if I'm actually um, trying to understand why this coup in the 25th of October 2021 happened, um, yeah, it is actually have to be very specific and say the deal of Hamdok, the TMS, Transitional Military Council, with the the forces of freedom and change. It wasn't fair from the beginning, because there was a very specific stuff that the people want to have them. Um, one of those stuff is to have one of the biggest thing that the people fought for. It is actually the slogan of Hurriya, Salam, Adala, and this is the freedom and peace and justice. And freedom and peace and justice have never been executed or made by this deal. And yes, and at the same time, these mass demonstrations, through the demonstrations and revolution, a lot of people died, and also people um, fought for the right back of the people, the rights of al-Qasas, which is having the 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 blood back for the people, um, it was very clear. الدم بالدم مملك بلدية. The blood for blood. We are not accepting deer, which is deer is something can be paid um, um, to forgive the killer, and this was very very great slogan. Yeah, and because of those reasons, those democracy, change, peace, justice, freedom, and the right of people being killed, sorry, and the whole economical situation also. This is actually important. The economical situation didn't change in a better way. So, which is the one of the main reasons that the people went in the street. So, for all those reasons, nothing changed, and the side of the forces and freedom and change started discussing all those issues, and it led to conflict at the end, and this conflict end in another conflict that it made kind of so regenerated also another conflict between the TMS and the um, and the FFS, and this conflict led to at the end brought us in the 25 October 21 the coup that happened in Sudan. Yes. Yeah. Now, if we are speaking about 2022, there was actually a lot of division between the FFS, and the FFS um, um, divided itself to two FFS. So, and these two FFS, one of them tried to also collect a lot of support from the people demonstrating in the street. One of them made completed organizing themselves together with the military, and the other part, um, try to collect emotional support from the people. So, and the biggest grassroots part, the neighborhood committee, resistance committee, they actually decided no, it's actually people, political parties are interested in they have their own interest in the having the power. So yeah, and then like after this coup, people actually been divided um, to two main forces. Can I say the main force? The main force is like two main forces. The number one is the number one. I can say um, the the radical change forces, which is like the neighborhood resistance committee, and at the last period, attend to these forces the communist Sudanese Communist Party, and the framework. I can say the framework deal. It is also a deal um, being made from a lot of um, forces, which is actually the main idea of these forces. They want to have kind of so yes, like all of those conflicts led at the end to have kind of framework deal being signed on the 5th of December 2022. Yeah, I mean, have kind of clear answer, like the resistance neighborhood committees. They have made the charter of the the revolutionary charter, the British charter of the um, to establish so to answer this question, I have to actually to just represent what the neighborhood committees wrote in a very clear answer for this question. They wrote the charter, the revolutionary charter, establishing the um, the power of the people, and they actually divided this charter in different paragraphs and capitals, and starting from the history of Sudan itself, the history of Sudan, the colonization, and how it actually affected the country, and which kind of governmental structure, and also the resistance structure, how we actually get it from the people to different governments, through military coups. It's actually very interesting to that know that the Sudan had more than like a lot of revolutions rise up in the 64, the first revolution against the General Abud, and then came the um, 69. The Nimeri came to the position of power with a coup, and then comes Wardab, and he stayed just for 1 year, and then give the government to democratical period, and then the 89 another coup also. So we had more than 4 revolutions. We are actually repeating all the same time, all the same stuff, doing revolution, military coup, and democratical period, and doing demonstration, doing revolution, a military coup, and then having democratical period. But it has never been established in a good way, providing a radical, rootless solution, sustainable, radical, rootless solution for the whole, for the country itself for a long period. So yes, and I can say this charter, the revolutionary charter, establishing the power of people, it will be an answer for this question. It will provide a stability in the political interactions, stability for the future of the country. Yes, yeah. Actually, our role as people living in diaspora, the diaspora here in Germany, how we actually involving ourselves in this, supporting the resistance committee neighborhood and the charter, revolutionary charter, establishing the power of the people. We have a group here, Sudan Uprising Germany in Germany. The name of it is Sudan Uprising Germany, supporting the neighborhood committees and the radical movement there, which is actually very important to us to support radical solutions, finding a real solutions for the period of the next period for the future of Sudan. And so that's why we started actually a campaign before in 2018 after the revolution directly. And the name of this campaign is EndJanjaweed. And one of our goals in this campaign to cut all of the relationship resources for the RSF in EndJanjaweed. EndJanjaweed is actually the RSF, and yes, we like our effort and the campaign goals is to end this EndJanjaweed, because we see as a solution for this for the country itself, this militia is supposed to come to the end. So that's why we said EndJanjaweed, and we're still working in this campaign. We started 2018 until now, and we are going to continue doing it, and also supporting the actual situation of the neighborhood resistance committee. Yes, we lost a lot of people. We lost a lot of our friends. We lost a lot of power, a lot of blood and different stuff. But we're still fighting, and we will keep fighting. And yeah, revolution is continuing.
مع الثوار ثورة الوطن الخاين ثورة عارفين نجيب النار ثورة نتلاقى في الثورة ثورة شايلين هموم ديننا ثورة مسلم على وطن ثورة حلفاوي ينقاوي ثورة ثورتنا منتصرة ثورة شهدانا ما ماتوا ثورة عايشين مع الثوار ثورة الوطن الخاين ثورة عارفين نجيب النار ثورة نضبط حقوق نتلم ثورة نقتل على دروسنا ثورة